My family have never considered Halloween to be a serious holiday. They were atheists and didn't believe in ghosts, any superstitions, supernatural entities, or any real reason why people would wish to participate. My dad called it yet another corrupted consumer event that had been imported from the US, and completely ignored how it originated in Ireland. My mother believed it would encourage people to be violent, that it normalized and glamorized it. Therefore, I wasn't allowed to celebrate it at home. When I was young, it never bothered me too much, but when I was in high school, I really wanted to go trick-or-treating or go to Halloween parties with my friends. Every time, my parents said no. I was stuck inside and had to watch while other people enjoyed the spooky season. Each year it grew in popularity, while I was stuck inside. I promised myself, once I was 18 and moved out, I would have a big Halloween party and do everything I missed out on. October the 31st, the day had arrived, and I was practically bursting with excitement. I debated which childhood character I wish I had worn back then. There were so many, but I finally settled on Wednesday from the Addams Family. My costume consisted of a short black dress, with white and black striped stockings, with twin plaits on either side of my head. My friends would be wearing their costumes, bringing old school Halloween treats, and not forgetting some alcoholic drinks and some edibles to make it extra fun. And, most exciting of all, I get to carve a pumpkin for the first time. It isn't as common in Australia. People brought a mixture of sizes, shapes, and colors. But I wanted the largest, the classical style, the ones you see on TV and in movies. Halloween fell on a Saturday night, so our schedules for Sunday were cleared, and with extra time off, we were gonna have fun, with music playing in the background. And soon my tiny studio in suburbia was filled with friends I knew, some I had only just met, and some people I wouldn't talk to under normal circumstances. Considering my landlord and my next door neighbors were gone for the weekend, I was pretty sure I could be loud without worrying about noise complaints. Seated on the wooden floor, surrounded by semi-empty bottles with a knife in hand, using it to mark a faint outline of where I wanted the eyes to go, and the too wide smiling mouth. Then I started the process of carving out the orange flesh, dumping out the insides into a bowl nearby, and gradually, people left for wilder parties. I said goodbye while continuing my task, slicing and scooping, until a majority of the pumpkin was defleshed in the bowl beside me, cutting into the surface, pricking my finger with a knife, and feeling the blood pool up. Wincing, sucking my finger to stop the bleeding, and then getting straight back to work. Next I carved out the eyes, then the mouth, making room for each jagged tooth and holding it on either side. Lighting up a black pillar candle, placing it inside, and the flames danced around, giving it a spooky appearance. Placing it on the coffee table, staring at it, the fire gave the impression it was communicating with me. But that didn't make sense. Ignoring it, I stood and walked to get something to eat from the kitchen, pushing aside the used plastic plates and dumping the old food scraps into a garbage bag, pouring out the old drinks down the sink, and making a lazy, half-assed attempt to prevent extra cleaning tomorrow morning. There was a ring at the doorbell. Thinking one of my friends must have accidentally left something, I walked toward the door and opened it, only to find there was no one standing there. Leaning outside, looking around and holding the door open, peering up and down the empty street, and figured the local kids must have been playing knock and run. A sharp, cool breeze shot past my arm, rubbing it to soothe it, and wondered what exactly had caused this. Worse, I thought I saw wet footsteps along the floor. They started out as shoes, then human feet, and finally, small hooves. Whew, the edibles must have had something in them. Maybe they were laced with something. Following the footprints, careful not to step on them, and realizing they had gone inside the jack-o'-lantern. Kneeling down and peering inside, I saw the black shadow of a tiny figure of a man with a tiny top hat, waistcoat, and carrying a staff, peering down at him, my nose close to the eye. What the hell? The figure, without eyes, noticed me and jumped, waved his staff at me, and taking flame from the candle, shoving it in his tiny mouth, and sprayed it into my eyes. Jumping back and rubbing my face with the back of my hand, blinking rapidly, and trying to get the fire out. Once I finished, I checked and realized he was gone. Looking around trying to find him, the footprints were still there. What a night, murmuring to myself, and started cleaning up after the guests, putting some plastic wrap over the pumpkin contents, and placed the bowl in the fridge. My eyes itched, rubbing my eye only to feel something wriggle. Heading straight to the bathroom, leaning close and staring into the mirror. A black leg stuck out, wriggled and disappeared only for an arm to appear. It waved at me, mocking me. Picking up some tweezers, holding open my eyelids, and waiting for it to appear again. It didn't. I stood for a long while, hoping it would appear, and finally giving up. I should just go to bed. Things will be better in the morning, I said to myself, my head spinning before my body flopped down on the bed. I went limp, closing my eyes, exhaling, and feeling the warmth of sleep take hold, when I felt a stirring inside my left eye. It felt like it was wriggling deeper inside me. Thinking perhaps it was a fly again, I smacked my face and tried to pull it out, only to feel a bite, jumping back and holding my fingertip to see a prick of blood. Fumbling, I felt my feet placed on the floor, and my steps were unstable and I bumped into the doorframe. I wasn't in control of my own body. I tried to pull my body back, fumbling down the hallway until I reached the lounge room. The ominous flame eyes of the jack-o'-lantern still lit inside the dark room. I saw a shadow in front of my eyes, pulling my body like a puppet, and opened up a drawer, taking out a thick needle and some black thread. The lit candle had melted down, leaving a pool of soft, warm wax. Grabbing it with my hand, screaming and pulling at it before shoving it into my mouth, ignoring the fire from the candle, consuming it, ignoring the heat. Grabbing the knife, I carved out the bottom of the pumpkin. Once done, lifting it up, squeezing my head inside, and seeing through the open parts of the eyes and mouth. They were too close. I smacked the side, trying to regain control over my body, scratching down the pumpkin's hard skin. I felt a strained feeling and knew my fingernails were being pulled up, and the scraping feeling. Using all my strength, I ran into the wall, hoping to crack the hard shell, and still, it clung to my head. Exhausted, I slid down the wall, breathless, and praying for it all to end. In a surprisingly graceful gesture, My hand reached out, and I picked up the knife, still coated in the flesh of the pumpkin, trailing the tip tenderly around my neck before I sliced into the skin, feeling a trickle of blood and powerless to stop my fingers, piercing through the skin with the needle and thread, securing the pumpkin to my neck, stitching it on, when I heard a demented giggle inside my mind. Hey, stop. Whenever I blinked, I'd see the figure, with his top hand and staff moving. My finger continued with their terrifying task, securing the pumpkin to my head, and with the final stitch, I heard the whispering inside my head, shaking it and smacking the side of the pumpkin. Hey, no, what are you doing? The whispering continued until another wicked giggle was emitted. I felt where the stitches should have been, only to find the pumpkin and my neck were now one, no seams connecting it. I tried to pull it off, to free myself, and I desperately grabbed the knife again. Shaking, I would either get it off or I would die trying. I stabbed at my neck, hitting my collarbone instead, piercing it, then stabbing into the pumpkin. I heard it crack and was about to stab again when my left eye burned, scratching and ripping, before I saw the small shadow man exit. It was blank, a blurred shade of red, before I could see nothing at all. Creeping from the corner was old Jack. He winked at me, leaned close, and gestured with his hand for me to rise, clasping a series of smaller tea candles, lighting them and placing them inside, sweat dribbling down my face from the heat, the fire so close to my face. Now in a physical form, he took the black thread and stitched my lips together, piercing through the top and then moving to the bottom. Hey, no! Now stitched up, I tried to push my fingers inside the eye holes, burning them in the process, and old Jack cackled and darted away, leaping up my arm, and I tried to hit him off when he left. It was like wearing a fishbowl on my head, causing me to fall off balance and landing with a secondary thud. I screeched through sewn lips, trying to get help. This had to be a dream. It had to be a dream. I felt sharp bites on my ankles when I saw the stem of the pumpkin and Jack holding it, inside out, the ball of the thread still inside, and holding the needle between his teeth. Holding the top shut, he hummed while sewing using the black thread. And this time, as soon as the stitch was made, it fused the pumpkin flesh into one, as though it had never been cut, looking up to see my head being sealed inside. Screeching, unable to scream properly, and grabbing the stem, I tried to pull it when it hurt. It felt like I was pulling my own head off. Determined not to let it win, I grabbed the knife, clenching my hand to gain the courage and stab the top, shrieking in pain, feeling the wet warmth and checked my fingers. They were bleeding. Old Jack sat on the edge of some molded wax, cooking a piece of pumpkin on his staff and popping it into his mouth, seemingly unbothered by my suffering. I had to get help. If I was still high, I needed to sober up real quick, or get someone here who could help me. Since I wasn't able to speak, I didn't bother with my phone and making an emergency phone call. Standing up again, feeling the burn of the wax on my cheeks, and using the wall to guide me, I headed toward the front door, unlocking it and opening it, allowing the cool night air to fill the room. I could hear people walking the streets to view the Halloween decorations, carefully stepping down the stairs, walking down the pathway, until I reached the footpath. 2 teenagers stopped. One dressed up as a witch with a large pointed hat, and the other dressed up as a vampire, complete with oversized fake fangs. The taller, I'm guessing the smaller girl's older sister, put her body between us. I pointed at my pumpkin head, squealing through my sewn lips for them to help me, to do something. "Oh, that's awesome! Look how realistic it looks!" they exclaimed. "You can't even see where it connects." "Hey, can we get a selfie with you?" I shook my head, having to shake my entire torso, and already their phones were out, taking their videos and photos. I screeched through my sealed lips and smacked the pumpkin, hoping someone would see me and understand what was happening. I wasn't supposed to be like this. I could see old Jack peering out at them, a wicked, crooked smile on his face, and he posed for the camera, and I don't think they could see him. "Hey, you should work in movies. Your special effects makeup is amazing." I turned, running in the opposite direction, hoping to find another group of people. A gaggle of children were running to my neighbor's house, followed by a pair of mothers keeping an eye on them. Both had phones in hand, leaning close to gossip about what was happening, and let out a good-hearted scream of fright before laughing. I pleaded through my sewn lips, rapidly pointing to my neck and doing my best to explain.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, every click of the clock. Old Jack is gonna keep you past midnight.
A demented version of my voice forewarned me what would come. I had to get this thing off my head. They didn't hear him. Instead, they peered through the eye holes and the smiling mouth, whispering how the stitches looked real, and asking which tutorial I had followed so they could do it too. I punched at the pumpkin as hard as I could, once, and the pain instantly shot through my head. Twice, and hearing it crack around me. Was this strange head now completely mine? The 2 women were horrified, looking at each other absolutely aghast at what they were seeing. I could feel the blood. It was warm and sticky. Looking at my hands to see now the red from my blood was mixed with the chunky flesh from the pumpkin. Staring at my hands, feeling helpless deep in my soul. And the 2 women stepped away to make themselves scarce. I walked in the direction of my neighbor's house, wondering with my hands rested on the pumpkin head and walking. My neighbors were refilling the bowl left outside for trick-or-treaters when they saw me approach. "Aren't you a bit old for trick-or-treating?" she snapped. Her grey bob hairstyle bobbed while she did so, then closed the door in my face. The snap of the lock ending communication. In frustration, I smacked my fist against the door, hoping she would reconsider and open up. I saw the curtain pulled open. She peered out with her phone in hand and a steely expression. I knew I'd receive no help here. I went from door to door, knocking on each one. A wanderer, forsaken. Each house I went to closed their doors to me, telling me to leave. And soon only one of the tea lights remained, my only source of light within the dark street. And deep down I knew, even without knowing the time, I knew the countdown was nearing the end, and midnight was coming. I'd no longer be in command over my own body. The trick-or-treaters became scarce, heading home, and abandoning the streets to the night. Maybe if I had have moved to the city, there would have been a decent nightlife. But would I have even received help? The pumpkin was heavy. The weaker I grew, the stronger old Jack became, stealing my life force for his own gain. I wondered how he managed to come into my life. Was it when I opened the door? Was it the welcome mat? Was it making the jack-o'-lantern? Was it something I did many years ago without realizing the significance? The shadow long gone, and a determined shadow outline remained. Whenever I blinked, he would appear in a new section, and making my way home, I hoped I'd be able to let people know what happened to me. I lost my sense of direction, wandering aimlessly through the neighborhood, through empty streets, and finding no salvation. I fell on my knees, scraping them on the concrete, and causing the stockings to rip, leaving a bloody patch on my knees. Making my way back home, longing for normalcy and safety. The outside light was still on. Making my way up the steps, feeling around until I felt the door handle and turning it, only to find that it didn't budge, realizing it had locked automatically when it was closed, leaving me locked out on the street until someone managed to find me. Sitting down on the stairs, slumped on the armrail to hold myself up, and my stomach grumbled. Absent-mindedly, I reached up and pulled off a piece of the pumpkin, damaged from my strikes and knife wounds, twisting the bite-sized piece and ignoring the pain, and fed it through the artificial mouth hole. Thankfully, I couldn't taste it, but my stomach felt full from my flesh. I knew it wasn't normal, that I should be terrified, but it didn't frighten me. Not anymore. Reaching up, my fingers penetrated inside the mouth gap, moving over the teeth, and without control over it. No, without control over my own body. The teeth clamped down on them, breaking up to the first knuckle. With a jump, and soon my teeth sank into the second, before doing the third, leaving nothing but bloodied stumps at the base. I blinked one last time, and old Jack was nowhere to be found. My eyes moved from side to side, until I realized he was perched just above my eyebrows. My eyelids were being sewn shut. First, my left eye's vision was lost, and he waited, letting me gaze out with my right eye for a final time. 3 spread out stitches, and soon, my vision was completely concealed. My body was limp. A feeling of heaviness in my heart, and I waited. I didn't want to live like this. Running my hand over the concrete step, knowing that I'd probably die in the process, and gripping my hands, stealing my nerve. All I wanted to do was escape the living hell I was trapped inside of. Resolved to my fate, I struck my head on the top stair once, twice, 3 times, and drove myself into madness. Both the pumpkin and my skull cracked. My arms and legs twitched, and I could taste the blood pooling in my mouth, with no way to escape. The force had caused the black thread to open and allowed me to see. Blinking, it was foggy, and a red haze misted over my eyes. The life leaving me, and feeling my humanity return. Sitting on the step below with his staff rested along his lap, turning to me, he dipped his top hat in my direction and wandered down the street while whistling a tune to himself while it all went black. And that was the first and only time I celebrated Halloween. I hope you enjoy this story. What did you think of it? Let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. Don't forget to stab the like button, subscribe, hit the bell and leave a comment. This video is made with the support of my incredible channel members, Patreon subscribers, and all my viewers. Thank you so much for supporting me. Don't forget to check out my social media accounts below, including my merch. Stay safe, my little spooklings. And remember, I'll be watching you.